morning all of you. Today we discuss about the lumbar vertebra. Firstly we should know about the vertebral column. The vertebral column, also called the spine or the spinal column or backbone. It composed of a series of bones called the vertebrae. The vertebral column is about 71 centimeter in adult male and about 61 centimeter long in adult female. The vertebral column consists of cervical region, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal region. In the cervical region there are 7 vertebrae. In the thoracic region there are 12 vertebrae. In the lumbar region there are 5 vertebrae. And in the sacral region there are 5 vertebrae which are fused to form one bone, that is sacrum, and in the coccygeal region there are 4 vertebrae which are joined to form the one bone, that is coccyx. So these are the 7 cervical vertebrae in pink color. In green there are 12 thoracic vertebrae. In purple there are 5 lumbar vertebrae, and here are the 5 sacral vertebrae which join to form one bone, that is sacrum, and 4 coccygeal vertebrae join to form one bone, that is the coccyx. So vertebral column consists of C7, T12, L5, S5 and C4 vertebrae. Here is the back view of the vertebral column. These are the cervical vertebrae, 7 in number. These are the thoracic vertebrae, orange, that are the 12 in number. In pink, these are the lumbar vertebrae. This is the sacrum formed by the 5 sacral vertebrae. Here is the coccyx, which is formed by the 4 coccygeal vertebrae. Today we discuss about this part, that is the lumbar vertebrae, which are 5 in number. L5, C7, T12, L5, S5 and C4. The cervical, thoracic and lumbar vertebrae are movable and sacral and coccygeal vertebrae are immovable. Between the adjacent vertebrae from second cervical vertebra to the sacrum are presence of intervertebral disc. So here in white, between the body of the 2 vertebrae is presence of intervertebral disc. So from cervical, second cervical to the sacral vertebrae, there is presence of intervertebral disc. These cervical, thoracic and lumbar, these are movable vertebrae, and below it sacral and coccygeal are the immovable vertebrae. So general features of the different vertebra in different region. In the cervical vertebrae, which are from C1 to C7, form the framework of the neck region. They support the skull, they are smaller in size, and there is presence of foramen in each transverse process, that is the foramen transverse cerium. And in the thoracic vertebrae, that is from T1 to T12, they form the posterior part of the thoracic cage and they articulate with the associated ribs. So there is presence of facet on their body. So main feature of the cervical vertebra, main characteristic feature of the cervical vertebra is that they are smaller in size and there is presence of foramen in the transverse process, that is the foramen transverse cerium. And in the thoracic region, main characteristic feature is that there is presence of facet on the body of the thoracic vertebrae for the articulation with the associated ribs. And in the lumbar vertebrae, that is from L1 to L5, they form the skeleton support for the posterior abdominal wall and they are characterized by large in size from all lumbar vertebrae. And next is the sacral vertebrae, that is fusion of the 5 sacral bone. They are immovable, articulate with the L5 vertebrae at the lumbosacral joint and articulate laterally with the pelvic bone or hip bone at the sacroiliac joint. They form the posterior wall of the lower abdominal and pelvic cavity. Next is the coccygeal vertebrae, that is formed by the fusion of four coccyx bones. They are immovable and form the part of the pelvic cavity. The vertebral column, they support the head, help to maintain the balance in the upright position, enclose and protect the spinal cord, permit the movement, move forward, backward, sideways and rotate, and absorb the shock during walking, serve as a point of attachment for ribs, pelvic girdle and muscles of the back and the upper leg. So today we mainly discuss about the lumbar vertebrae. Lumbar vertebrae are 5 in number, that is from L1 to L5. There are total 5 vertebrae, out of which 4 are typical and 1 is atypical, that is L5. L1 to L4 typical vertebrae, L and L5 is the atypical vertebrae. So lumbar vertebrae are largest, strongest in the vertebral column because the amount of the body weight supported by the vertebrae increases toward the inferior end of the backbone. Their processes are short and thick. The superior articular process is directed medially instead of superiorly, and the inferior articular face is directed laterally instead inferiorly. And spinous process are thick and broad, project posteriorly. Attachment of large, they provide attachment to the large back muscle. So here is the lumbar vertebrae L1, 2, 3, 4. These are typical vertebrae and L5 is the atypical vertebrae. The size of body increases from above downward, from L1 to L5. So L5 is the largest vertebrae of the lumbar region, and the length of the transverse processes increases from L1 to L3 and thereafter it decreases. So here is the lumbar vertebrae. We know a typical vertebra, it consists of a body, vertebral canal and different processes. First we discuss about the typical lumbar vertebra, body of the typical lumbar vertebra. The body of the typical lumbar vertebra, it is kidney shaped. Body of the typical lumbar vertebra is the kidney shape. The transverse diameter of the body is more than the anterior posterior diameter. The height of the body anteriorly greater than the posteriorly, and that is marked for the anterior posterior diameter of the vertebral canal. So this is kidney shaped body of the typical lumbar vertebrae. Transverse diameter is more than the anterior posterior diameter. Next is the vertebral foramen. Vertebral foramen of the typical lumbar vertebra, it is triangular in shape. It is triangular in shape which lie posterior margin of the body. Next are the pedicels. Pedicels are short and thick and they are directed backward and laterally. Pedicels are short, thick and directed backward and laterally. Next are the lamina. They are oblique and meet in the center to complete the vertebral foramen posterior. So vertebral foramen is triangular in shape and is larger than in the thoracic region but smaller than in the cervical region. If we see this diagram, this is the cervical vertebra, this is thoracic and lumbar vertebra. This is the vertebral foramen which is triangular in shape. It is larger than in the thoracic region but smaller than in the cervical region. is the cervical, thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. These are the lumbar vertebrae, vertebral canal, which is larger than in the thoracic region but smaller than in the cervical region. Then is the pedicels. Pedicels are short and strong. They are projecting backward. These are pedicels. These are short and strong, which are projecting backward from the upper part of the body. Which are projecting backward from the upper part of the body, making the superior vertebral and inferior vertebral notches. Inferior vertebral notches are much deeper than the posterior. These are pedicels which are directing backward from the upper margin of the body. Next are the laminae. Laminae are short and thick and broad. They are directed backward and medially to meet each other and to complete the vertebral foramen posteriorly. Next is the spinous process. Spinous process is a vertical quadrilateral plate directed almost backward and slightly laterally. Backward and downward. It is thickened along its posterior inferior margin. So here is the spinous process, which is directed downward and backward, and posterior inferiorly it formed thickened. So we have discussed about the body, which is kidney shaped. Transverse diameter is more than the anterior posterior diameter. Then pedicels directed backward and laterally from the upper margin. Then vertebral foramen, which is triangular in shape, larger than in the thoracic region and smaller than in the cervical region. Then laminae, which are obliquely going backward and meet in the midline to complete the posterior margin of the vertebral foramen. Then is the spinous process, which is directed downward and backward, and at the posterior inferior margin it becomes rounded. So here is the body of the lumbar typical vertebra, pedicels, laminae, vertebral foramen and spinous process. Next we have discussed about the superior articular process. Here are the superior articular process, inferior articular process and the transverse process. First we have discussed about the transverse process. Transverse processes are thin and tapering and directed laterally and slightly backward. These are the transverse processes which are thin and tapering, directed backward and laterally. These develop from the costal element and homologous with the ribs in the thoracic case. At the posterior inferior margin of the each transverse process, there is a rough elevation which is known as the accessory process, which represent the true transverse processes. So, these are the transverse processes which are thin and tapering, which are directed backward and laterally. At the posterior inferior margin of the transverse processes, there is an elevation which is known as accessory process, which represent the true transverse process. The length of the transverse process increases from L1 to L3 and thereafter it decreases. Next we have discussed about the superior articular process. So here are the superior articular process and here is the inferior articular process. This is the superior, here is the inferior articular process. Superior articular process, it consists of superior articular facet and inferior articular process consists of inferior articular facet. Superior articular facet, they are directed medially and inferior articular facet directed laterally. Superior articular processes directed backward and directed forward and medially, and they are directed backward and laterally. It consists of an oval facets. These both processes consist of oval facets. The facet on the superior articular process, they are facing medially, and facet on the inferior articular process facing laterally. So this is the L1, L2, L3 vertebrae. This is the body. These are the transverse processes, pedicels, and this is the spinous process. These are the features of a typical lumbar vertebrae. Largest lumbar vertebrae. So from all vertebrae, how can we identify the lumbar vertebrae? The body is largest. There is absence of costal facet on the body, which is present in the thoracic region, and there is absence of foramen in the transverse process, that is foramen transverse. There is no facet on the body, there is no foramen in the transverse area, and body is largest of all vertebrae as compared to cervical and thoracic region. So largest typical features of the lumbar vertebrae: largest, one vertebral foramina, then spinous process short and blunt, project posteriorly than inferiorly. Transverse processes are large and blunt. Articular facet for ribs absent, and direction of the articular facet superior, that is medially, and articular facet on the inferior articular process directed laterally, and size of the intervertebral disc is massive. This is the cervical vertebrae, which consists of foramen transversarium in the transverse processes, and these are the thoracic vertebrae. They having facet on body for the attachment of rib. So these are the main features of the typical lumbar vertebrae: body, pedicels, transverse processes, superior articular process having superior articular facet. These are laminae, and this is the spine. And here is the inferior articular facet, and which is present on the inferior articular process. It is directed laterally, and these are directed medially. So next is the atypical vertebra, that is the fifth lumbar vertebra. One point is that the difference between the superior articular processes is more than the inferior articular processes in the typical lumbar vertebra. In the typical lumbar vertebrae, the gap between the superior articular processes more than the gap between the inferior articular processes. Next is the atypical vertebra, that is the fifth lumbar vertebra. This is the main vertebra. This is larger than the typical lumbar vertebra, and this is the fifth lumbar vertebra, which is larger than the typical lumbar vertebra. The features are the gap between the superior articular process is less than the inferior articular process, or the gap between the inferior articular process is more than the superior articular process, or the gap is equal in between the two as compared to typical. In typical, the gap between the superior is more than inferior, but in fifth, that is atypical, the gap between the inferior articular processes is more than superior or is equal to that of the superior. So here is the atypical vertebra, that is the fifth lumbar vertebra, that join with the sacrum at the lumbosacral joint. The inferior articular process of the fifth lumbar vertebra join with the first sacral vertebra at the lumbosacral joint. So these are the features of the atypical vertebra are: this is the largest of all vertebra, the gap, next is the gap, and next is the transverse processes. processes of the fifth lumbar vertebra, thick and strong and pyramidal, thick, short and pyramidal. Their base is attached to the whole thickness of their pedicel and encroaches to the side of the body. The other features are body are largest of all lumbar vertebrae. The spine is short and rounded. The spine is short and rounded at the tip. So these are the features of the fifth lumbar vertebra. First is the gap. Second is the small is short and rounded. Body is largest of all lumbar vertebra and its transverse processes are short and they are attached to the whole thickness of its pedicel. So this is all about the lumbar vertebrae, that are L1 to L4 are the typical and L5 is the atypical vertebrae. Next is the applied of the lumbar vertebrae. First is the sacralization of the vertebrae. In sacralization of the vertebrae, the L5 vertebrae or fifth lumbar vertebra is a congenital anomaly in which the lumbar vertebra, mainly its transverse process, get fused with the semi-fused with the semi-fused with the sacrum or the ilium or to the both. In this, the L5 vertebra, it may get joined with the sacrum or with the ala of the sacrum to cause the sacralization of the vertebra. Next is the spondylolithiasis. In the spondylolithiasis, there is the greater part of the fifth lumbar vertebra. In the spondylolithiasis, this is the sacrum, the greater part of the fifth lumbar vertebra, it moves forward over the sacrum. Normally it is not happen because the inferior articular process of the fifth lumbar vertebra, it remain behind the superior articular process of the first sacral vertebra. But when there is an ossification abnormality, when there is an ossification anomaly, then the inferior articular process, lamina and the spine of the L5 vertebra, they remain separate and leaving a gap behind. And the L5 vertebra may move over the sacrum. They move forward over the sacrum, causing the spondylolithiasis. This spondylolithiasis, it may cause